gallon of water a day. For 9 days leading up to the show, she doesn't eat any solid food. She only drinks shakes containing powdered egg. 2 days before the show, she stops drinking the gallon of water. Then 12 hours before the show, she stops drinking any water at all. She says, and I quote, "No liquids at all, so you dry out. Sometimes you can lose up to 8 pounds just from that." That is one determined, dedicated, dehydrated model. So there you have it. I guess just swear off the solid food and water and you'll look great, if you don't drop over dead.
Models' diets are one of the most searched topics. Millions of people search the internet hoping to find the ultimate diet secret. Today we'll discuss the diets of some of the most famous models and determine if they are the healthy way to go. We have very intriguing information in this video, so you don't want to miss out.
Yeah, and then you got to get back on your diet though. Because in Paris and Milan, they like the girls just a tad on the skinny side. Just a tad on the skinny side.
Before we start, I would like to briefly introduce myself. I am finishing my last month of my nutrition major to become a registered dietitian. I have a passion for human nutrition and body physiology. So this is my thing, and I'm so excited to share this video with you guys. So if you are as excited as I am, just keep on watching.
Sometime, someplace, the bear.
They make you gain weight like crazy.
They never lose their cool.
Our first model today is going to be Victoria's Secret model Romee Strijd.
Camera, click, we pose.
Our model has opened a YouTube channel where she shares what she eats in a day. Oh wait, let's underline.
As a model.
Obviously, models' diet are better than regular people's diet.
Bitch, I'm a big deal.
She starts her morning with a fruit bowl, which has 40 grams of oatmeal, chia seeds, I believe she meant hemp seeds, pumpkin seeds, goji berries, blueberries, cinnamon, peanut butter, and half a banana.
Because I feel like it's a really nice source of protein and it just makes it super tasty.
I don't think you're getting a lot of protein with a little amount. So let's look at the macros. First thing that is a red flag is the carbohydrate content. 53 grams of carbohydrates for just a meal is a lot. I recommend to not overpass the 50 grams of carbs a day. I will explain why I recommend to not overdo carbs in a moment. Just bear with me. I'm going to insert a graph which shows how each macronutrient affects insulin. The reason why we need to know about this is because it will measure how much blood sugar rises after a meal, and this will depend on whether we eat protein, carbohydrate, or fat. If you look at the graph, you can see that carbohydrate is the macronutrient that spikes blood sugar the most, and very short after, it comes a crash. Whereas protein and fat don't spike blood sugar as much and they keep your sugars stable for longer instead of just giving you an instant energy and then crashing. So going back to her macros, if Romy increases her protein and fat and lowers her carbs, she will be able to keep her blood sugars stable and feel satiated for longer, without the need to constantly snack due to the constant fall in blood sugar.
And I'm that kind of person that loves to eat 5 to 6 times a day, because otherwise I just get hangry. So it's 11 now, and I felt like some fruit, so I'm doing strawberries. And I love to pair it with almonds. I love to combine it with almonds because when you eat your fruit with something that has fat in there, it helps you to like balance out your blood sugar.
Yes, fat does help stabilize blood sugars, which we saw on the graph previously. However, she wouldn't have to worry so much about it if she didn't rely so much on carbohydrates. Lunch is 2 slices of bread, 1 avocado, 1 egg, hummus, pepper, salt, chili flakes, and sprouted watermelon seeds. I like the fact that she's having avocado since it's a great source of fat and fat-soluble vitamins, which remember are the vitamins that are only absorbed with fat, and that is why fat is so important. Then egg not only provides essential fatty acids, but it's also a complete protein, meaning it provides all the amino acids profile. But just 1 egg is not enough. 1 egg, and actually a big egg, has just 7 grams of protein.
I stayed pretty much full until dinner.
For sure.
And when we look at her macros for lunch, she just has 13 grams of protein. And then looking at fat, those fats are coming from the avocado, the hummus, and the egg yolk. 5 grams of fat is okay, not for the entire day, but for the meal is fine. Still not high enough for my keto-friendly people, but for those with fat phobia, it's a start. And then 50 grams of carbohydrates for just a meal is a lot. Those carbohydrates are coming from the bread, which is a poor source of nutrients anyways. At least you get some vitamins and minerals from fruit. But bread is so nutrient depleted. At 4, she has a snack. And of course, she needs to snack to keep that constant spike of blood sugar. The snack is not bad in the context that veggies are fine. The problem is that she needs to snack because she's constantly hungry, and that's what we need to fix. So we're not gonna count the calories and macros here, but the few calories come from the small amount of hummus. The ingredients for dinner are 2 eggplants, brown rice.
FYI, just because it's brown, it doesn't mean it's healthy.
It's still a very high index carbohydrate, which will raise insulin. Remember how we saw previously that eating carbohydrates lead to a big sugar spike, raising insulin levels. Insulin blocks fat breakdown, fat burning, and stimulates fat storage. Since hormones dictate our hunger, carbohydrates will only make you hungry. And then you can either just pull up with that hunger and not eat, or eat and get fat.
What?
They make you gain weight like crazy.
Mother!
Okay, now that I scared you about getting fat, and I know you're never gonna have brown rice again.
Feta cheese, yogurt tahini, pomegranate, fresh mint, ras.
Yep, I didn't know what it was either. I had to Google, and it seems like it's a spice from Morocco.
How fancy, Romy.
And seed mix. Just looking at this, I can tell this is not enough food.
Pretty, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
If you notice, from the 75 grams of feta cheese, she uses a spoon of it. So lunch is basically 1 eggplant cut in half with a spoon of cheese and a bit of rice. Let's see the macros. First of all, 200 calories is a joke. Okay, fat and protein are very low, so we can move on. If we add all the calories from all the meals for the day, we get a bit over the 1400 calories. It's recommended to have 1.5 to 2 grams of protein per kilogram. She needs at least 81 grams of protein, and this is for someone who's not even active. I usually recommend 1.7 grams of protein per kilogram and then 2 grams for those who are very active. Otherwise, your body will start breaking up your own protein to keep with the demands. And if you thought protein is important, let's take a look at fat, because I don't think fat gets enough credit. Fat is critical for all your cells, membranes, all your organs, the heart, the immune system, and pretty much every living system in your body. Did you know the brain loves ketones, which is a metabolite of fat? And what about fat-soluble vitamins, which are only absorbed in conjunction with fat? When it comes to carbohydrates, the lower the better. Carbohydrates trap you in a remorseless cycle of glucose dependence and hunger. Remember how we saw previously that eating carbohydrates lead to a big sugar spike, raising insulin levels. The same way carbohydrates spike blood sugars very fast, blood sugars drop very fast as well. And this crash will stimulate hunger and affect insulin. Insulin blocks fat breakdown, fat burning, and stimulates fat storage. Since hormones dictate our hunger, carbohydrates will only make you hungry. Two models that I want to discuss are the Hadid sisters, as they are one of the most well-known models nowadays, and dieting is a bit controversial. Here's why. Let's start with Bella. Harper's Bazaar asked Bella about her diet, and I quote, "Right now my diet is pizza, so recently that's all I've been eating. I promise you it's like every day. Or burgers, french fries, and grilled cheeses."
Really?
Bella's credibility is questioned when we go back to the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. And we can see not only they have lost obvious weight, but also they were following a very strict diet.
I'm so excited for the food. Pretty much all the food that we're eating is like a heart attack in a meal. It's like, but it's gonna be so good.
It's good. You can have one night of being bad, right?
Yeah, I was actually really good this week.
Yeah. And then you gotta get back on your diet though. Because you know, in Paris and Milan, they like the girls just a tad on the skinny side. Just a tad on the skinny side. Volleyball is a very masculine sport. Modeling is a very feminine thing.
I know.
Gigi wanted to model all this time.
Nice. Beautiful.
These girls, they train 4 hours a day after school, so their bodies are big and bulky, and I mean, they eat like men.
In 3rd grade, remember I used to wear basketball clothes to school every day?
Yes, a Laker jersey, right?
Yeah, to school every day.
I thought that my daughter was lesbian. This is the hardest from being on our diet.
Simply look at the before and after pictures. The weight loss is pretty obvious. And while some models are not fully disclosing their true diet, others have decided to speak the truth and explain how strict dieting and low-calorie diets have affected their mental and physical health. And what I worry the most are the young audience. They are at high risk of developing nutritional deficiencies as well as negative or distorted image of themselves, simply because they don't have acquired maturity yet. So don't be fooled. They are not eating pizza or fries every day. Just based on biochemistry and body physiology, we know mixing carbohydrates with fat and protein promotes fat storage and stops fat burning.
It's obvious she has lost weight.
But there are models who are being honest about losing weight, such as this model from Victoria's Secret.
Bridget Malcolm took to Instagram to open up about losing her fear of food. In her post, Bridget compared photos of herself at the height of her severe eating disorder to healthier images in 2019. She even posted more pics 2 days later to further show the difference between a healthy model and one who felt pressured to look a certain way. She captioned, "The girl in the first 3 photos was afraid of doing cardio because she was told that it would be better to not eat if she needed to lose weight fast."
Even supermodel Cara decided to take a break from the model industry. She gave a speech about body image and how much she hated needing validation from everyone.
It wasn't nice. You constantly are told that you're not pretty enough and not tall enough and not skinny enough.
Next model is Miranda Kerr, and we're gonna see everything she eats in a day. As I was watching this video, I realized how little food she has. Anyone would think she is in a very low-calorie diet, but I'm gonna let you judge that. It has almond milk, papaya, spinach, blueberries, raspberries, and almond butter. Another thing that keeps popping up is the idea that almond butter has protein. Miranda is saying she's getting protein from her almond butter. Almonds do have protein, but the protein amount is very small. And Miranda's having a teaspoon of almond butter. She doesn't reach protein requirements. Some fat that comes from the almond butter, and then the vast majority of carbs and sugar come from the fruit. And the next recipe is pancakes. Oh my god, this recipe is a metabolism destroyer. She is mixing carbohydrates and pure sugar with fat and protein. Protein from the egg whites and fat from the coconut oil, the egg yolk, and the almond butter. Carbs and sugar are coming from the oatmeal, the banana, which is, by the way, one of the most sugary fruits, and the coconut nectar. And what a lot of people think is that if they have sugar that comes from a natural source is okay, but again, it's still sugar. Thinking as a dietitian, I'm already having a heart attack. So as suspected, looking at the macros ratio, we can see the imbalance. Carbohydrates are over the roof, while not enough fat or protein. She is probably thinking she's having a low-calorie meal. But we know what this does to our hormones. We don't care about calories. This imbalance of macros only triggers hunger, and that is why our models are constantly eating. And to counteract that frequent eating, they eat small quantities of food and low calorie. And who wants a life of constantly thinking about calories? That's horrible. Not to mention how irritated and cranky you'll be. You're fighting against your own metabolism.
And it's lunchtime.
Lunch seems healthy because of the salmon and the veggies. The problem is the amount. Not enough salmon to reach protein, fat, and calories required. Even though salmon is a fatty fish, she needs to increase the amount. If she were to have more protein throughout the day, I would tell her she can do those 3 or 4 ounces of salmon. However, she has a very small amount of chicken for dinner. And again at dinner, we encounter the same problems as we did at lunch. Look at those amounts! Looking at the total macros, we can see fat and protein are low for the day. But this was suspected basically because of the tiny amounts. For fat, I've seen worse, so fat intake is not that low. Then 75 grams of carbohydrates are high, but the sugar intake is even worse. And then look at the calories. They are extremely low. And lastly, we're going to talk about another Victoria's Secret model who has opened a YouTube channel where she shares what she eats. Like the others, she titles her videos as What I Eat
As a Model.
Camera, click, we pose.
And if you notice, the videos show a skinny body as a cover or thumbnail, which to me translates to follow my diet and you'll be skinny. There's nothing wrong about that as long as the diet is healthy, and that is what we're gonna find out. Her breakfast bowl has 1 banana, strawberries, granola, oat milk, and a few blueberries. Basically a carbohydrate-based meal with poor nutritional value. And remember, this will affect blood sugars. And actually, I challenge you to stay all day with just that breakfast meal and see if you don't end up eating your own hands in the process. Not to mention how cranky you'll be.
I can't go to Taco Bell. I'm on an all-carb diet. God, Karen, you are so stupid.
And then another day, have a high-fat, high-protein breakfast. You'll see how long you can last without another meal. Lunch is a salad with vegetables and chickpeas and a few olives with lemon and olive oil, which will add some fat but still not enough. And yep, that's pretty much lunch. Lastly, dinner is salmon with sweet potato puree and green beans. Salmon is the only true protein she has for the day. Chickpeas have some protein but not enough, and it's not a complete protein. And their protein absorption is a bit controversial based on research. They're mostly carbohydrate. I estimate she's having 20 to 26 at max of protein from the 90 grams she would need for her body weight. And not only she's low in protein, she's low in fat and calories. So to wrap it up, let's review what we've discussed. 1.5 to 2 grams of protein per kilogram, and this will depend on active level. So if you're an active person, you go regularly to the gym, you do a lot of weights, or you do a lot of high intensity workouts, or even you are an athlete, you'll do better with 2 grams of protein. I would recommend to just play with those numbers and see which one works best for you. 50 grams of fat. And remember, the less carbohydrates you have, the more fat you can have. And lastly, try to stay low on carbohydrates. Remember the golden standard, which is 50 grams. But if you're very active, you can still be okay with the 70 grams of carbohydrates. But I would say to play with those numbers and see which one works best for you. So that's all from me. Stay around because a lot of videos are about to come all about nutrition. I'm obviously open to suggestions. And yeah, stay around because I'm so excited. Great things are about to come. And I'm not gonna lie, it was a lot of hard work. There were days that were literally 10 hours of editing to the point that I wanted to quit because at the same time I had to study for my major. So I had to sacrifice doing other things that I wanted to do. Another day, another edit. Do you see the sunlight out there? Because I haven't seen it in days. It's starting to get very mentally intense because it's just, I get to the zone of like, is it really worth it? It's very time consuming and all this very negative emotions that you think when things are tough. But I have to remind myself that I gotta keep going because the video is gonna be worth it. Just go like, I've been editing for literally 10 hours already and I am so exhausted. I can't, seriously, it's just so time consuming. Why you so hard? Why? So yeah, it was intense, but I think that when you have a passion for something, you just gotta keep going, even though sometimes it's just like very mentally and physically intense. You gotta do what you gotta do and keep doing what you love, and eventually it'll pay off. It's starting to sound like an inspirational channel, which is not. I mean, of course we want to inspire people to take care of their health and everything, but I'm like starting to rumble. I'm just gonna leave. Thank you so much for watching from the bottom of my heart. Thank you. Whoa, that's pretty close. Don't you feel awkward when like someone comes like too forward? It's like too closer to you. It's like, dude, I mean, no one's even is like that pretty. See, I need to just leave. It gets to a point that like people start doing weird stuff when they get time alone and they're like talking to a camera. You start doing like freaking weird stuff. But anyways, again, goodbye. And this time for real, like, for real.